Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco, and Kyle.
Yeah.
Montage.
Now,
this comes from the French verb monter, which translates 4 years of French in high school, and I'm a disaster. I mean, we've talked about this. We ever talk about this? There's only one thing I remember from my French class.
Oh, oui?
Avez-vous un ami dans la classe de français? Do you have a friend in the French class? That's it. Comment s'appelle-t-il? What is his name? Il Kyle. Or that's not even right. I didn't learn anything. I learned nothing. Merde. That's all I know.
Merde.
And if you want to know what that is, look it up. We can't say it on the show. All right. So,
we gotta keep our PG-13 rating.
Yeah, that's it. Translates as to assemble.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice little connection to the MCU.
That's right.
Okay, montage, passage of time, various clips, all different types of editing techniques. Citizen Kane has a montage.
Oh, yes.
Montages are used throughout film history to tell this story of time. Mm-hmm. We all know what everyone's favorite montage is. Wait, am I right?
Team America World Police, right?
No, well, it is, but it's Rocky IV.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Rocky IV is, I think, the joke, the meme, whatever you want to call it, that has become of the montage. Mm-hmm. Rocky IV is the start of the real, like, oh my God, montage, right? Like, to me, at least. I don't know. That could be a point that I'm sure we'll listen to in Discord and a few other places.
I think that would be a good topic of conversation for one of those things.
Talk to us about montaging. Anyway, so montage.
Because here we are in minute 4 of Iron Man 2 from 2010. That was a lot of numbers in the short succession. Directed by Mr. Jon Favreau. And we go from montage into title sequence montage.
This is nicely done.
This is very nicely done. And I like this a lot because it's setting up the really direct parallels between the two men. Because obviously this whole thing is about Ivan versus Tony. And so while the title sequence is playing, and we're going to talk about all the names that pop up on screen, we see very, very clearly this is Ivan's cave sequence. Like the same, like just like we saw Tony having to put something together. The same thing here. Here is a brilliant scientist, obsessive man, dealing with issues with his dad. And trying to assemble something. And it's also interesting because over the course of these 2 minutes, a lot of time is passing. Because as we're looking at the montage, we see. So, but do you want to say what? How do you want to do this? Do you want to go names in order and then in shots in order, or do you want to talk about all the shots that happen and then talk about all the names?
We can actually
I have it chronologically listed, so whatever you want to.
Oh yeah, no, we can however you want to do it and stuff. Okay. I was just going to say just point by point. We just walk through it. Yeah.
All right, let's just walk through it then. Okay, so the first 2 things that pop up on screen as we see some welding being done by Ivan are Paramount Pictures and Marvel Entertainment. We talked about this before. Disney had purchased Marvel Entertainment. No, Marvel Entertainment is the parent company, so the Marvel Comics is also under Marvel Entertainment, and so is at the time Marvel Games and all the other stuff. And then Marvel Studios is one part of the Marvel Entertainment brand that was purchased. So then Paramount Pictures obviously being Paramount Pictures. So they're already in place, but then at this point, like Disney's name is not on anything too because it was too new. I mean, they'd only been in control for about 6 months at this point.
Right. We've got, and we can see kind of just this big cavernous sort of workshop that looks crazy, like a tinkerer. And the music is kicked in.
Oh yeah,
really wonderful, a thundering.
I think
sound.
This is Ivan's Metamorphosis. I think is the track. We're going to talk about the artist, the music as we continue on, because the score for Iron Man 2 is just outstanding.
No, really well done. And then you know what else is in the shot?
What? Oh, there she is again, Irina.
That means what's our counter? 3.
That's right. Another Boyd sighting.
3. I'm very excited about that.
That's right. So the next name that pops up there is Fairview Entertainment. Fairview Entertainment is Jon Favreau's production company. It is in front of all of his projects, I believe, even including Mandalorian. So yeah, that's his. Like whenever he's involved with it, even if he's not directing, then Fairview Entertainment is there. So it's a Jon Favreau film. So what are your thoughts about Jon Favreau?
Oh, what an amazing, just a story of both the actor and the filmmaker. For those who, don't remember, I mean, he was in Friends.
Yeah.
He was played one of Monica's, he was the MMA fighter, right? Like he was the
and he said boyfriend. even like up to the Iron Man times, like that's what people approach him about.
Yes.
Like of all the things he's done, all the movies and everything else, it's people are going to be like, hey, you dated Monica.
Right? I mean, that's just
power
amazing.
Friends.
No, and look at, I mean, what just a great story in terms of, to me, he is one of the great stories of fanboy becoming the auteur of the craft. You know what I mean? Like, because he loves this stuff.
Yeah.
And now he gets to play in this sandbox. And when you go to just what he's done with the MCU, what he's done with Disney, what he's now doing with Lucasfilm and the Star Wars universe, just an amazing, sort of curriculum vitae of what he's doing to continue his craft of telling a story, and in universes that he is personally in love with. I think that's fantastic.
Very true. I find him fascinating because it's a little separate art and artist.
Right.
So the artist wing, whenever you see these things and you see interviews and you see behind the scenes stuff, and like there's always things like, if I was to have dinner with Ridley Scott, I don't think the conversation would be very effusive. Like it'd be like, so robots, huh? Aliens, right? Yeah. Like I like, would I have questions for him? Absolutely. Would we like pal around? Not a chance. But when I watch stuff with Jon Favreau, I'm like, I would be friends with Jon Favreau. That's the impression I get. Like I feel like I could sit and just talk to him about Star Wars stuff for hours. Like it's that now, would that be true? I don't know. But like I always get that vibe that he just seems like a really cool, approachable kind of person, and we have a lot of similar interests. Obviously, we're gonna do 126 episodes on a thing that he made. So I have a lot of respect for that, and the same thing. Like I think I love all the stuff that he is doing, I think he's really on to something that between him and Dave Filoni, as the stewards of Star Wars. I think they're doing a great job. But let's talk about the art. I run hot and cold on Favreau films. So I like a lot of stuff, but I don't like everything that he does. So this is what I'm saying. I'm just separating the two because in the same way I will say I'm a huge, gigantic fan of Joss Whedon's work, but not the man.
Right.
So in the same way, I'm a huge fan of Jon Favreau, the man, not as much about the work. So it seems like it's maybe every 2 or 3 that I'm like, it didn't get me. Like he wrote Swingers, thought that was a great film, did not direct it, but I mean, like he was obviously like that one. He did his first feature film was Made, not a fan. Elf, loved it. Yeah, like all the way through, like Zathura, I enjoyed that. Then obviously you did Iron Man 2, which we're going to talk about Iron Man 2 for a long time. And then you did Cowboys versus Aliens. Nope, not feeling you on that one, John.
Do you know I have not seen that movie?
And that's pretty telling in and of itself.
I wanted to because it's got Harrison Ford in it.
Well, after you watch Dr. Zhivago, then you can watch.
Oh yeah, that's not on the list before Dr.
Zhivago. I could go on about Cowboys versus Aliens. There's so many things, but anyways, left me cold. And the same thing. So not everything he does. I think like Jungle Book, 100% with you. Right. Loved it.
Right.
Lion King. Could not be farther away.
No,
did not like it at all.
No, and we've I think we've mentioned this on the show before.
We have.
I mean, Lion King, I think he was put in a very difficult situation with Lion King.
I suppose, but also he's at the point now where like he's not going to get pushed around like he was on this movie.
Well, no.
Just saying. I'd say so. As we go through, I will be taking some shots, but I'm not taking shots at Jon Favreau, the man. I'm just talking about this particular piece of art and the problems that I had with it. So I just want to make that clear that I'm not going after him personally. I'm not going to insult
Nor
his family.
Nor would we in any way. Wouldn't
but
do
I'm
that
just saying,
in any way.
as we get in, I just wanted people to know where I'm coming from when I have criticisms about this stuff.
Oh,
I'm not
of course.
like trying to like call out Jon Favreau because, like I said, it's that Aaron Burr thing. I would like to have a beer with him.
Oh no, absolutely. He's. I mean.
I watch all the stuff with him, like, and when he talks about his philosophies of filmmaking and stuff, I was like, yes, absolutely.
Watch if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, watch the roundtable discussions they've done where they brought all the people in, the directors of the Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, Disney Gallery, the Mandalorian. It's rare. It's so rare that you have directors talking to each other. Oh, and I will say one more thing about Jon Favreau, as we're going to talk about him, I'm sure many times through the year. He is also responsible for one of the best television shows ever made, and that's Dinner for Five. Dinner for Five is one of my all-time favorite television shows where he would just get 5 artists together and eat. That's it. That's the whole concept of the show. Like, not scripted. It was just like he would get artists and actors and directors and writers and performance artists and whatever the hell Marilyn Manson is, and then just sit them around a table and then just talk about whatever. It's fascinating.
Where is that? Where can you watch that? When was that done?
It was done for IFC. I don't know if they still have it anymore. I own the DVD box set. That's how much I loved the show.
Wow!
Because it's one of the best talk shows ever made. Because
when did that run? Is that from,
it was about this time. I think the last one they did was right about the time that Iron Man came out. Because after that he blew up and didn't really need to do a little IFC dinner show anymore.
Okay, little side note.
Yeah.
Do you know who totally copied that format?
Who?
The WWE.
Oh, really?
Because on the network, this is for just everybody. Hey, this is the kind of stuff you tune in for.
You paid your money. This is what the
exactly.
Are all about.
Okay, so on the WWE network, they have a series called Dinner for Three.
Oh,
and where they bring in like 3 wrestlers, 3 people involved in wrestling, and they have some sort of common theme. And it's them at a place in a closed restaurant, where the food is brought out, and they have a conversation. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's great. So I think the last episode they did was with the cast of Iron Man or Iron Man 2. So right in this, so it ended right about the time this.
Well, no, this is
early 2000s.
Clearly in the last 5 years. So this is not. This came after. So there you go. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I was always grateful to him just for that. So okay, so that name pops up. So let's continue on. So then we get the crazy wall. Or as I like to call it, fun with Photoshop.
I know.
We see like the wall of his obsession with Tony Stark. We've seen a couple of these images before. A couple of these were in the montage, another montage in Iron Man 1 when Tony was about to receive his award early on in Iron Man in Las Vegas. So the shot of him and Obadiah together. That's from there. The Tony Stark wants to save the world. That's Tony Stark, not Iron Man. So that was when he was just. Well, I have no idea why a weapons dealer would ever be on the cover of Rolling Stone, but MCU,
right?
It's a different world. But then we see a couple of new ones. So the one on the far left is obviously a early shot of Robert Downey Jr. when he was younger, and they've just added in like the text around it to be about young Tony Stark. And then on the other side we have actually a new thing. So this is what tells us that time is passing. Is that we have a news article about Tony Stark is Iron Man, and it's interesting. I are American papers this available in Russia? I'm not calling it out. I was just curious. Like, can you get like the American version of all these things in Russia this easily?
I am sure contraband is available.
Oh, you think so? Okay. Well, I mean, this is like 2010 or whatever. So I mean, like it's not like it's we're smuggling in
the world was entirely different. Capitalism was afoot. It's I mean
okay, I'm just curious. I mean, I assume that there is a Russian Rolling Stone,
right?
But I was just curious if you can get the like the American version with all the stuff. Like I would assume that all this would be in Cyrillic, but it's not.
Right.
Just like you pointed out, there's one little article offside that has like a submarine or whatever. That's all in Russian. Cyrillic.
It looks like it's in Russian from what I can tell. But there is an article as we looked at all this. There's it looks like French actually. The article of young Tony Stark, and then the Forbes, the Rolling Stone. We can't see what the big one, the new one that we mentioned on the right is. Yeah. Can this man save you? Tony is Iron Man. There's another article above that. That's another Tony Stark is Iron Man article. Yeah. But then there's this little tiny newspaper clipping, and it looks like it's a story about some sort of submarine, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
and I
like,
can't go
why?
in enough to see. Yeah, like what is that? Maybe this involves something. Maybe this is how. Maybe it involved his father. Maybe there was something going on. Maybe there's a little, I would be amazed. Wouldn't it be hilarious that if somewhere in here was hidden like a Crimson Dynamo reference?
That would have been really smart.
I mean,
because I even like I couldn't find a lot of information about this, but there was at one point they were going to have Crimson Dynamo in the movie. Like there was going to be a 2-villain situation where it was going to be and even so when I watched one of the behind the scenes thing and they're in one of like I think it's Stan Winston Studios showing the designs, they bring up essentially what the Ironmonger armor is, and the guy who's giving the tour refers to it as the Crimson Dynamo armor. So great. Crimson Dynamo was very much in their thoughts. Like it was originally in some of the concepts they were going to do, and then they went a different way. And obviously because they wanted to get away from like two guys originally like, oh, we in the first one with like two guys in giant iron suits beating the crap out of each other. We don't want to do that for the second one. Oh wait, of course we do.
There's more. Well, and there's another guy in a suit. I mean, this is multiple guys in suit. There's it's a bunch of layered stuff in this. Just a couple things
layered.
Layered. A couple production design notes I love on this sequence. So you've got this slow pan of all of these like you said, the bulletin board, like all these articles that he's got taped up on his wall.
Yeah.
First of all, I just love the design that somebody had to design fake covers of Rolling Stone and Forbes and all these other things, and then print them, make them look tattered, and then prepare them so that they looked like they had been ripped off covers and put up there. Yeah. But here's the part I really love. What brilliant, the title, the person who's running on the motion graphics for this, as the camera pans, you have the Forbes and the Rolling Stone articles right next to one another, perfectly composed. The Forbes one has Tony's body looking to the left. The Rolling Stone one has Tony looking to the right. And just as it hits the middle of the screen, Robert Downey Jr.'s name comes up as the cast. First cast.
Yeah.
That is
that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just okay.
I would say I will probably give a shout out to Lori Gaffin. That is who is the set decorator on the movie. So I would say that probably her team, but I would say that's who gets a lot of lion's share of praise for this.
But okay, when you see stuff like that happen, because anybody who's a fan of movies knows there's always weird things that happen. Like it always bugs me when you see movie posters and the names of the stars are different order than the way they appear on the poster, and it always kills me. Like I understand there's billing issues, I understand all that, top billing and stuff.
Right.
But this brilliant. Way to go. Excellent job.
Because that's the thing is, when you're the director and stuff, you can get to choose this kind of stuff. So I mean, I think this is probably, John Favreau having some fun, like putting stuff up there. So yeah, and billing is interesting because the common belief in Hollywood is billing is determined by how much money you made on the movie. So it goes by order of who made the most. That is not always true, but that's kind of like the shorthand. So first we have is RDJ himself, Mr. Robert Downey Jr. Next up is Gwyneth Paltrow, which I thought was interesting. Then Don Cheadle. Then Scarlett Johansson. Then Sam Rockwell. And then Clark Gregg and John Slattery share a screen. And I think they probably have about the same amount of screen time as well.
Right. Because
both of them are not hugely things in the movie. But I looked at it, I'm like, no, it's not alphabetical. So yeah, it's pretty much by screen time. Nah, not really. But yeah, that's all I can think of is I know it is a point of pride where your name shows up. So I know that is actually a part of negotiation. So sometimes people will take less money so they can have higher billing.
Right.
That's the weird thing.
Well, then also too, but we've talked about, and this is what Mickey Rourke gets. He gets the width.
Yeah, we can get to that. So then before that, of course, we have a little bit of Irina.
There's a little more bird.
Again.
I'm not going to play the sound effect.
The bird. Yes. We've heard from our audience, and they're tired of the sound effect.
Well, wait. Let me ask you a question. Can we clarify something about our bird Irina tracker?
Yep.
We haven't given a name for it yet. Maybe that's what it's called. Irina tracker sounds like a hurricane tracker, though. I don't know if I like that. Oh God, there's no
Irina's underwear.
Irina, right?
Arena sightings.
Yeah. We'll have to think of that.
Does it count? Arena Watch.
Is it just one? We'll try that. Does it count? Is this 2 or is it just 1 per minute? What's the maximum? Do you
think? Yeah, I would say because we're a movie minute podcast. I would say by minute.
By minute. Okay, so she's still a 3. She's a 3.
Yeah. And every time someone says the word bird, also that counts. That's its own count.
Well, no, that's a different list. All right, now as those names.
Once again, here's Elvis portraying Irina, and Joe's back up again, and then then we get to the next the credits, and this is another interesting thing is with and. So those are always really sought after things because that usually means this is a character who's important to the movie. This is this is an actor who's going to make something like this. If you look at any of the movies, someone who comes in and has a big impact on something, a lot of times get the with. With is a very big deal to get in movie billing, and so that's Mickey Rourke gets the with. So with Mickey Rourke, and then when it shows up, his face isn't on screen, his hand is on screen, and actually we're gonna get into the tattoos a little later on as we see more. But I really like the tattoos he has across his hand because it's the symbols of the cards. So it's hearts, spades, across the finger. I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like if you I'm not for finger tattoos, but if it was, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, clubs and diamonds. Yep.
And then who gets the and? Mr. Samuel L. Jackson. And then the nice thing about that and is that usually they can also do then the character play. So it's and Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I think they should have put his rank, but whatever. I guess
now
he's retired.
To go over some of the visuals that you're seeing as all these names are going by.
Yep.
We've got Ivan working sort of with some foundry tools. He's working on some metal. He's working on sort of that. We've got another shot of the blueprints that just give us a bigger view and stuff. And once again, I will say this looks like something huge. So I still say, from what you can tell, this was the non-working prototype that then Tony got to work. But anyway,
okay.
He also looks like he's been dining on bread and butter. Interesting placement there.
Well, we're going to learn that he spent some time in prison, so maybe he got a taste for the simpler things.
The simpler things of life, absolutely. And then we get a back shot of him. This is almost like I don't have the sound effect. It's almost like a sequel to Dr. Stern's House of Horrors.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, they're very clearly drawing the parallel between him and Tony because, like, you see him over the forge with the hammer,
right?
And he's basically pounding iron, like. People, you get it? I mean, I would say I'm not mocking that in this case, because I think this is a really smart way of doing it because he's in a dark cave-like environment and he's making a suit and all these things we're showing he's doing the same thing that Tony did just over for different reasons over a longer period of time.
And he's got just this huge when it's the back shot of him. This is when Clark Craig and John Slattery's names are up.
Yep.
It's behind him, but you see him working on his main workbench and tons of screens. The only one I could make out is one of those old style JVC video monitors. It's only about a 7-inch, 8-inch screen, but a whole lot of different stuff. So obviously the guy, here's now what we've learned is apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. He is very clearly a technician, scientist, a forger. He, he knows what he's doing. He works well with his hands and his mind, and we can see all that going on. We have a bird shot, yay. We have the fingers, as you said, and then when we get to Samuel L. Jackson, it's a cover shot of Scientific American, and the article it's basically a cover about Stark's arc. Will he ever share his secrets to power the world?
And somebody else who's reverse engineering his secret.
So right there, you can already see if you're eagle-eyed on this, there is a lot going on in terms of what the world thinks of what Tony Stark has done and what he's made happen.
Yeah, actually, a lot going on could be the subtitle for this whole movie, Iron Man 2. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on. Now, do you know what else is going on? Did you notice the other titles underneath the Stark's Arc article on Scientific American?
No.
First one is Solar Storms, How the Sun Could Damage Power Grids. Interesting. Second, No Fog Glass, Self-Cleaning Windows, Steal Nature's Secret. Interesting.
Okay.
And Answers from Atoms, Practical Quantum Computing with Ions. I don't know why I'm bringing these up. I just thought they were interesting. You thought I was coming in with you'll learn about this. No, but anyway, I just found that interesting. But here's the other big one. behind Samuel Jackson's name is the front page of a newspaper, completely in Russian, with that picture of the submarine.
Oh, submarine again.
So there is something going on with that. We'll have to,
Or that's the one they had. They had one article. They're just like, it's clearly in Russian. No one's gonna pay attention to it, except all of Russia. So the next names that come up there are not actors. We're done with the actors. It says casting by Sarah Haley Finn and Randy Hiller. And the behind each of their names is CSA, which stands for the Casting Society of America. And so, as we're talking and criticizing and stuff too, the one thing I will say about this movie and about almost all the movies that Jon Favreau does is they are immaculately cast. Like everyone in this movie is exactly perfect for their role. I mean, like so much so that you don't even think about it, like all the people they had to go through. But and I think these are two of the secret weapons of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Sarah and Randy, two very, very powerful women who are extremely good at their jobs, because Sarah started on Iron Man and has cast all of the MCU and the Disney Plus series.
Wow.
146 credits as a casting director.
Wow.
She is extremely good at her job. So like now obviously there's something that happens on the top level, like I would say, like she always says away, but like when they're negotiating these multi-million-dollar, big things, I'm not sure how much that the casting director is involved. But anyone under the line absolutely is through the two of them. So yeah, I have always thought the MCU is immaculately put together. Like you never think, why did that person get in there? And I think Sarah and Randy are the two of the reasons why.
Nicely done.
Okay. So then we see Ivan looking under a magnifying glass. What's under the magnifying glass?
What's he working on?
That's where the minute ends.
Oh,
minute 4 comes to an end. As looking through at something.
That was quite a lot, though. I mean, when
it was a lot.
Names in there.
Oh man, if you like me to listen off names, you're gonna love minute 5.
Yeah. Oh, there's more.
Yeah, because then we're gonna get into the real proper name listing. But I promise we're gonna make it as exciting as possible. Will it be a rap song? No, it won't. But don't think I didn't try. Oh, but if ever there's reason to tune in, that's a good reason to hear me not rap.
Me, on the other hand, who knows?
Yeah. But in the meantime, if you're looking to improve your wardrobe or your kitchen shelves, or perhaps the wonderful facial accessories that we're all required to wear as we venture into this wild, weird new world, we have our own merch. You can go to nextreel.com/merch, and it'll take you to our online store where you can buy pillows, you can buy mugs, you can buy masks. And if you keep an eye on that site, perhaps you might even see some Marvel Movie Minute Season 3 merchandise show up there sometime soon.
I got to tell you, I cannot wait to get my new pillow, because now we've got a collection, right? So
That's right.
I've got the pillow from last season.
That's right.
I can't wait to get a matching pillow.
You got the Hulk eye on one end of the couch, and then what's going to be on the other one? Well, you probably already know, because you can just look at your podcatcher and see. But we're still
working on it at the time of recording this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. It's going to have our mugs on it.
That's right. So we'll be back here for minute 5 as we continue on with Ivan's inventions, and we'll see what he comes up with. Enough said.
Bye.